All right, are we ready? Are we ready? Okay, cool. Quick change over there. Thank you, Santosh, for that. Our next speaker. All right. It's rowdy. I think they must be sharing some of those beers. Eugene's staying in the Brewdog Hotel. Apparently, there's beers in the shower, beers by the bedside, and it sounds like you had an eventful evening or morning, depending on how you like your cereal. Yeah, so our next speaker, Eugene Neal, he is the head of IT platforms at Love Holidays. I've known Eugene for quite a while now, and I've been following what Love Holidays have been doing with Sandy, its digital assistant, and how it's been adding value to consumers and to the business. And what's really interesting is the journey that Sandy's been on, but more importantly, how it's helped Love Holidays essentially think more deeply about the future of customer experience. So Eugene is going to walk us through now a little bit about that journey and a little bit about Sandy. A round of applause for Eugene, please, boys and girls.
Thank you. It's the first time I've been to an event that is all conversational AI or chatbot people, so it's exciting to be here. I'm normally at a lot of telco events, so it's actually lovely to have a captive audience. So I'm going to talk purely about our use of conversational AI. Kane kicked off saying that we've heard a lot about things you could do, but me and the team from Love Holidays, who are just there, raise your hands, so everyone knows who you are, have been doing this for years together, some of us for 5 years, and actually had a lot of success and found a lot of interesting things. And I want to convince you of this statement that I've got on screen, that we're at the dawning of a new era for customer service. And it probably goes beyond customer service, but I'm not that visionary. I have to think in the world that I work in, and I work in customer service. So let's see what we've learned. So let me tell you a bit about Love Holidays first. Context is always really important when you're thinking of these things. So we actually chose Love Holidays to come and work at to do conversational AI because it's a super interesting company. So we're 11 years old. I'm guaranteeing almost none of you have ever heard of us. Is that right? If anyone has heard of us, should give us a hand. Yep, so almost nobody. That's generally the way. But we're extremely fast growing. We're actually the fastest growing company in 2019 in the UK. Privately held in any sector, so ahead of fintech, medtech, any of those companies. So, and we pride ourselves to be a technology company. We've chosen to sell travel as a product, but actually we're building a platform technology business that we could sell any product through in any country. And that's led to this insanely fast growth that sees us today being announced as the third biggest travel agent in the UK. So nobody's heard of us and we're the third biggest. We're actually the biggest in Ireland by a mile. We dominate the Irish market. 60% of all search traffic ends in us. And again, nobody's heard of us. So it's quite an interesting position to be in, and you can see why it's an exciting company to join. And we're taking that platform. And we intend to go to everywhere. We want to take on the entire world. But actually, our next step is going to be into Europe, and very soon out into Germany, taking this platform, taking conversational AI as part of that platform. Okay, so travel company, why is it different? Why is it interesting? So we have this lovely reputation, the second worst industry for customer service. Fantastic. I don't know if you guys know who the worst is. I'm not going to shame them, I should call them out. But it's a horrible title to have, but it means there's a lot of opportunity. We actually think we get in this situation because people buy holidays in January, buy them in February, and don't go on holiday until June, July, August. And there's so much that can go wrong. There's so many needs for customer service interactions. And that's the bit that really appealed to us with conversational AI. So much work we could potentially do to make that a better experience. And there's also this history. You saw on my first slide, a very dapper gentleman having a very luxury time waiting for his aeroplane. There's kind of that reputation that travel is somehow luxury. You kind of expect a bit more, but we're in a world dominated by low-cost travelers. So we're kind of having to work with this customer perception of us all the time. And this last bit, I hope isn't just exclusive to us. I think we're all feeling it. Sorry, I hate these mics. I'd prefer a Madonna one. Thank you very much. The cost of living crisis really brings to the fore this kind of need for something like conversational AI. We can't hire staff in the UK. We've had to go much further offshore. So we can actually bring up our staff as we need. And even then, we're struggling. So we see a ramp up. We're going to be sending about 3 million people away in the summer. And we need to bring agents online. And we're struggling. It takes 6 weeks to 8 weeks to train these agents. I'm sure every business is feeling the same. So this context sort of brings the people in this room really to the front of the need for many businesses now. How do we solve these problems? Does that help? Gives you a bit of an idea of how I'm going to seat my conversational AI. So we're very, very smart. We pride ourselves on being probably some of the highest minds in the world. We called our chatbot Sandy. It's the best we could come up with. And Sandy's about 2.5 years old, coming up 3 years old. And has won us a few awards. And I kind of call these out. I think it's the appropriate audience for them, not to sort of stand on stage and brag. I'm very proud of them. But we've won innovation awards for technology, and we've also, with exactly the same platform, won awards for customer service. And it's that piece, it's that sort of combining of technology to deliver a good outcome for a customer that for me is one of those key bits is why we're sort of coming towards this new era. So yeah, the awards are really key. And Sandy's our chatbot, primarily at the moment. She's the first handler for all of our chat conversations and converts about 70%. So 70%, you call it containment. I'm not that comfortable with that phrase. Yeah. I think it's resolution. 70% resolution. So no need for humans on 70% of our contacts. So for the third biggest travel agent in the UK and the biggest in Ireland. That's significant for us. And we've got this little piece I've chucked in here as well. Upselling. We thought this was a joke. Like genuinely, when somebody said, "Ooh, every good customer service team should be aiming to be a profit center," we were like, "There's no way you could do that in conversational AI in a customer service context." We're wrong. We tried it with a little experiment. We're about to go through. We've passed 100 sales, and it delivers strong. For a tiny experiment we put no time into just to prove ourselves right that it was not possible. Turns out we're completely wrong. We are going to obviously invest time and energy in that at some point, but I wanted to share it because I think it's really interesting that you can actually build that trust enough with the conversation that people buy off you in a support context. And we're also starting a voice. I think I put this on here just to call for help. Like, if you've got tips or things you've gone wrong, please come talk to us. We don't know what we're going to do here. But actually, voice looks to be a little bit simpler to us than the chat-based conversations. I don't know what you guys have found. So how does this all stack up? Now, it's all great talking about conversational AI, but does it really deliver? So before you look at these CSATs and judge me and think, God, that's a failure, think about the point I made previously. Travel is the second most negatively thought of industry. Our CSAT scores aren't massive. These are industry standard. During the pandemic, they were lower than this. We really struggled. But 51 for our chatbots versus 43 of our humans. Seems very good. 1 second, it's actually less, but it seemed picky to use milliseconds on a slide, to answer a contact, and 13 minutes for people. We've also got the conversational branches that it takes to resolve it. We get there quicker with conversational AI. And the total time to handle of less than a minute in conversational AI compared to 20+ minutes with humans, it's a significantly better experience for the customer. And that's one of the things we're truly obsessed about at Love Holidays. We want to bring this reputation up by being better. That's why resolution's better than containment, because we want to care for the customer. And one real key bit, so people keep asking us how we've got there, how we got to 70%, why we have this confidence we'll get to 50, 60% with voice. And it's this personal. Sandy is personal at scale. And we've been on an evolution. I spoke to some people from VUI who were doing some very interesting, similar kind of thoughts as well. But this kind of adding sort of charisma into your conversation is so important. Like back in 2020, we started here, and you see a lot of chatbots still in this territory. Very generic. Even if someone signed in on a page asking them their name, it's almost rude. Almost. And maybe it is rude. Then we got into 2021 where we started to be a bit more conversational. That was kind of starting to feel nice. We're kind of getting proud of it. But where we are in 2023, we're not just a little bit personal. We greet you by name, context of the product you brought, We actually can even change this to be, if you're on holiday with us, rather than just having booked a holiday, we can kind of change the style of how we're talking to you. This flows through our entire conversational structure. So we won't talk to you about a flight, we'll talk to you about your specific BA flight and where you're going. So it makes it feel much more relevant, much more personal, and that really drives up sort of trust and buy-in from all of our customers. And it's that seems to be leading to this incredible sort of ramp up in success we're having at the moment. And the personal side, I actually listened to everybody yesterday talk about exactly this point. It's driven by data. It's nothing radical, it's nothing amazing. Yes, it's conversational architecture, but data. And we've all got a lot of data, too much data. But using it correctly, having it in systems that are addressable by a conversational AI, that's where a lot of the work has lived for us for 2.5 years, getting everything ready to really do this at massive scale. And now we're there, as I say, we're really getting significant traction, because it needs to be available in pretty much near real time to you, because you don't quite know which way the conversation is going to go. So it's one of the vital things for that personal touch. The other bit, I don't want to just sort of say, you just need clever people like me and my team, and a bit of data, and you can master this. It's also down to the sort of evolution of our industry. The technologies we have. Again, this kind of comes back to data. But in the early days when we were all building chatbots, having a stateful conversation with people, conversation with memory, was nigh on impossible. You couldn't mine data out of the conversation itself to use later in the conversation. You could, but you had to get pretty smart to do it. Now you can do it much more easily with many of the platforms. We're a Google house, so we use Dialogflow CX, but this is very simple. But most platforms can now do this, but if we hadn't seen this advance, we couldn't have those human enabling style conversations where you don't just sort of randomly loop at some point in the conversation. Also, large language models. I feel like every time someone says ChatGPT, we should all drink a shot. Especially my team should definitely drink shots. But we haven't plumbed them into anything. They aren't. Me and Kane were joking that ChatGPT is the middle button that just presents for you. But we use them because we're a tiny team. If we want to be personal, we don't want the same response going out every time to something. ChatGPT does help us write more responses. We don't trust them, so we edit them afterwards. And it also helps us train our models as well. Maybe at some point we'll plumb it in, and actually it'll go and solve the world for us, but not right now, but it helps us. So what else? This bit is key. The humans have evolved. Something sort of magical seems to have happened with people. Yes, in the last 6 months of ChatGPT, it's accelerated, but it's been going for a long time. Like, people are really willing to interact with computers, be digital first, talk to light switches. Slightly bizarre, but people do it. And people are learning how to talk to machines as well. They don't, in text, people are very full. In speech, we've kind of pulled them back a little bit. We've slowed them down. But that's really kind, I'm not sure. But people are learning that now machines can talk to them. People are curious to talk to machines. I think for me, the most interesting thing out of ChatGPT is not the amazingness behind the model. It's the fact that it was the fastest growing product in the history of products on our planet. That people wanted to talk to a computer so badly that it was the fastest product. That seems absurd if you sort of say it to yourself over and over again. But it's amazing. It shows something is changing. And this last point of trust, which is very interesting, especially when you talk about ChatGPT and its hallucinations, but people trust computers. We found with Sandy, we found with Sandy that people take it as fact. Love Holidays told me this, therefore it's real. So there's this huge trust. If a machine says it's without bias, I think it's interesting that lots of finance houses using conversational AI for trading advice, because it won't have emotion. It won't say, well, I don't like Bill who looks after this trading house. So it's just factual. Now, for all of us who work with conversational AI, I know that can be untrue, but it feels that fact to a lot of consumers. Hopefully you're with me so far. Hopefully some of you are starting to see this point I'm making of why this could and should be the dawning of a new era. So I kind of wanted to recap at this point of my thoughts of customer service. Like I've been working around contact centers since the late 90s, and people have always told me it used to be better. Customer service used to be amazing. I think this chap works in that era, where everybody was greeted by every business by name, and with this kind of excitement, ooh, how was the last product you brought from us? Did you enjoy your tin of soup from blah, blah, blah? I've never seen it. I've been doing it for 20 odd years. When I joined travel, I was told that that was definitely the default. You went into a travel agent, they'd ask how your relative's holiday was and how the Cayman Islands were and blah, blah, blah. So much detail and so much sort of love and respect for customers. Have any of you ever seen that in your time in customer service? In any product that you brought, either, I haven't. Maybe in some extremely high-end retail experiences, you get it. But it's very unusual these days. But that era of caring for customers, giving that really lovely feeling to customers, comes from knowing your customer. We've just talked about how the fact we can do this now at scale. So we know our customers. We know every single one of them. They're usually logged in. We know everything about them. We could greet them and talk about their family members. Be a bit creepy, be a bit weird, probably a breach of GDPR, but we could do it if we wanted to. You can go to any length to know them. And we can react to them in a personal and contextual way every single time. So where they are in their product life cycle. Every single time. Also, we could be polite. This guy's fantastic in the morning, but honestly, if you get him after lunch, he's a bit slow and grumpy. We're not like that. We could be consistent and attentive all day long, every day, 24 hours a day, which is amazing. Also, we have an incredible attention to detail. There's nothing the machine will get wrong if we've given it access to the right data. We'll just keep going. Everything it gives people is correct. Occasionally, this chap gives out the wrong tin of soup. We're never going to do that. And we could be vastly knowledgeable. So we can program into, forgetting the large language models, just into traditional conversational AI. We can build knowledge at the fringe of what our customers want, because it's cheap to do so. If it's only asked by 1% of customers, we can still build it in there, and we can make it a good experience. So we can have this lovely range of interactions for people. And can do all that at scale. So we do it for 1.5 million, 2 million contacts. There's no reason why we can't do it for 20 million. It scales effortlessly. So if you've got this combination, the kind of question I want to leave in your minds at the end of it is, how is this not the dawn of a new era for customer service? Because that sounds fantastic, right? And we're there. We can do this. So I hope that kind of gets you thinking a bit. And do come and ask me lots of questions. I'm very opinionated about this. I don't claim to be right. This is a journey we've been on, a conversation we've had. But talk to me, talk to the team over there. I'd love to hear what you guys think. But I hope it gets you going for the day.
Thank you so much. Round of applause for Eugene Neill. Thank you, thank you, thank you. There was a